Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here. Today we're going to talk about some modern Doctor Who, and my question is how looking forward to season 2 are you? Are you excited about it? Are you really not looking forward to it? Are you cautiously optimistic? Or are you very much not optimistic but hoping and praying? What are your thoughts on season 2? I'm not quite sure. I can say that I'm looking forward to seeing it when it comes out and seeing what it does, but I'm much less looking forward to it than I am, say, collection box sets. Like, I'm much more excited about the Season 25 Classic Who box set. I'm looking forward to finding out what the next Missing Story animation is going to be. Those are the things I get excited about. I'm more excited about the Blake 1 collection set, and I'm only 7 episodes into Blake 7 collection series 1 episode box set. I'm more excited about that. And I've only seen the first 7 episodes of that so far, which I'm enjoying, by the way. Blake 7's a lot of fun. Very dark, but I'm liking it. Kind of reminds me of Farscape a bit, actually. So I'm nowhere near as excited for season 2. I'm still looking forward to it. I hate having to wait all the way to next year to see it. But I'm apprehensive. I am curious to see what they're going to do with it, but I'm apprehensive, especially knowing that season 2 was filmed before season 1 aired. So any of the lessons they could have learned from the feedback of season 1, they can't implement for season 2 because season 2's already been filmed. Now, they can still do stuff with editing. And movies can be greatly changed by the edit. I mean, look at the movie Daredevil. Everybody tells me the director's cut's way better than the theatrical version. I didn't care for the theatrical version. So you can actually do a lot with editing. You really can. There's a lot you can change. But again, only to a degree with it having been filmed already. And it's not that season 1 was all bad, actually. I actually like about half of season 1 quite a bit, and some of it's just okay. Let's look at season 1 real quick and deal with these orders in chronological order. Church on Ruby Road was okay. It didn't blow me away, but it was okay. But I did enjoy the Doctor and Ruby in it quite a bit. I liked Shugatwa's performance as the Doctor in it. I do think he's a good actor. I like Millie Gibson's performance as Ruby. I wasn't quite sold on her yet at the time. I needed more episodes to really connect with her. But, I was intrigued enough to follow on. The stuff going on with her home life never really grabbed me. The actress playing her mom and her, grandmother, aunt, whoever that is, are fine. The home life stuff I kind of found it a little boring, even though it's kind of pivotal to that story. But the story itself, the musical number, didn't really do much for me. It was okay. The episode was okay. And then Space Babies, again, I didn't really care for. I thought it was a silly premise. What I did like about it was the chemistry between the Doctor and Ruby. The Doctor and Ruby click really well. I actually like them together a lot. I like both of the actors in the sense that I think they're both good actors. And they have really good chemistry, characters and actors-wise, which I liked. Even though the episode I thought was rubbish and silly and just, it didn't do a lot for me. I won't say I hated it, but I did kind of dislike it a bit. The chemistry of the characters sold me on it. But then I liked episode 2, The Devil's Chord. I have nitpicks about it, which I've mentioned in other videos. The fact that the Beatles don't look like the Beatles. They look like the Beatles with all the masculinity sucked out of them, as another YouTuber pointed out, and I just can't see that. But I enjoyed the story. I thought Jinx Monsoon was great playing that character. Very over the top, but I liked that performance. I think she was well cast in that role. And I enjoyed her as the villain. I enjoyed some of the scenes. I like the fact even the Doctor was a bit afraid and not quite sure what to do. I thought it was good performances. I loved the homage to Pyramids of Mars with the desolate future. It was a fun episode. I liked Boom well enough. Boom it wasn't like a home run, but I enjoyed it. I have nitpicks with it again, but I enjoyed it. The guest performances really didn't do much for me. We're going to circle back to that point, but the guest performances I didn't really care for them, except maybe the 2 guys at the beginning seemed like they were really giving it their A game. The rest of the performances didn't do much for me. But Millie and the Doctor are great. Their performances are great, and I enjoyed the look of the quarry. I love that Doctor Who is still filming in a quarry, even if it's a digital quarry. But I did like the set, and the story itself was good. And I just liked the premise of the Doctor stuck on that mine and not being able to do stuff. And then we had 73 Yards, which is fantastic. I loved 73 Yards because it's Doctor Who doing another one of those episodes that's just totally different, not like anything you've ever seen before, really pushing the idea of what Doctor Who can be to its limits. I love that. I thought it was a great performance for Millie Gibson. It's more proof that a Dr. Light episode can work, much like Blink, and found it very, very enjoyable with a really good cast, a really good premise. And I love the fact it doesn't answer all the questions. It doesn't give you all the answers. I like that about it. I know some people don't, but I very much do. I like the fact there's a lot of mystery involved with what's going on with 73 Yards. And then Dot and Bubble, which could be my favorite episode of the season. I really, really like just how... I like how it satirizes so many things. It takes jabs at so many different things. Of course, it has the elitism and the racism being the main ones, but it talks about classism, living in a bubble, living in quite a literal bubble, and it has several things. The dangers of influences and not looking at people outside your bubble, echo chambers. It's satirizing all of those things. It's taking shots at all of those things, not just the racism, but it does the racism in such subtle bits all the way up into that ending. In addition to all the other things it's tricking you into thinking about, even though it's still satirizing those things, that the ending hits you like a hammer, which I really like, because you want to pull for Lindy at first and feel like she's becoming a better person. The episode really goes a good way at trying to send you down that road of, hey, she's learning to walk, she's learning not to use the bubble, she's learning to be compassionate about Ricky September, all the way up to the point to where she turns on him. And you can watch all the YouTube reactions online at that moment when she's like, his real name is Coombs, his surname is Coombs. And you just see everybody. There's a lot of people, it takes that second for them to process, like, wait, what? And then once it clicks in their head what's going on, they're like, it does. It pulls that rug out from under you, realizing this is just a terrible person. This is a bad person. And then, of course, getting the ending that we get when it's revealed that they're just a bunch of elite classist racist. Your jaw is just on the floor. And I love Shudigatwa's performance there. He nails being the Doctor right there. He really does in that scene when he's like, you can care what you think, you can say anything, just let me save your life. And when they won't, that frustration he feels, I love that when he just does that laughing. And then he spins around, he's laughing, he does that, Because I've had moments in my life where I've dealt with that kind of frustration, where all you can do is laugh and scream like that. I have had those moments in my life where I've felt exactly like that, through stuff that is no fault of my own. And it's so frustrating that I can just identify with that moment and that reaction so much of just being punished for things that aren't your fault. That there's nothing you can do about it. I really identify with that. And it's just a well-executed scene. I mean, was it Callie, I think is her name? The actress who plays Lindy does a great job in that role. She really does. And what little bit we get of the Doctor and Ruby, they're really good in it. I really enjoyed Dot and Bubble. Going through those last 4 episodes, the season was on a high for me. I'm like, could this be one of the best seasons we've had of Modern Who? And then we got to Rogue, and I did not care for Rogue. I did not. I don't like the Doctor being in relationships. The Doctor being in a potentially gay relationship, it just felt a little too political for me. It felt like Russell T. Davis and Shudigatwa trying to shoehorn it in, to be honest. And when you have something like that with a legacy character like this, it's going to be considered political. You just have to accept that. Now, personally, I wouldn't have liked the relationship, period. I don't like the Doctor to be in a relationship, be it a hetero relationship, a homo relationship. I don't like the Doctor in relationships. I don't like Ten and Rose together. When I was younger, when the TV movie first came out, I didn't so much mind the Grace and the Doctor kissing. and the Doctor being a little more romantic. But that's because, you know, I was in my mid-teens at the time. Now, I think if the TV movie came out, I'd be like a lot of people were when the TV movie beat. I'd be like, he kissed her! Ah! That's not the Doctor! So I don't really want that. Plus, Rogue just had several problems. Structurally, the story was bad. It didn't make sense. It cheated a couple times, which I've mentioned in my review of Rogue, when it tries to make you think Ruby's been taken over by the bird thing. The one girl that's hanging out with her being a bird thing is a twist that comes out of nowhere and makes no sense. Her having the combat earrings is weird. It's all over the place. I can easily tell the people who wrote this have never written for Doctor Who, and they never need to again. And then the plot of the story taking back seat, playing second fiddle to the Doctor's romance, the politically driven Doctor's romance. That kind of thing should never take precedence over the story. If they had the romance part in there and had it happening behind the scenes while the story is what drove it, I would like it better. But the bird people feel like an afterthought. Also, their designs don't impress me. Like the head woman, her outfit's all right, but the rest of them just kind of look silly for the money Doctor Who is supposed to have. Yeah, and then the ending I didn't like. It just, you know, the Doctor just met this person like an hour ago. And he's already like, travel with me. I can show you all these things. I'm going to put on this. And then the Doctor cries again. Like, doesn't he cry like twice in this episode? I don't remember. He cries a lot. I have a lot of problems with that. And then we had... I remember my reaction to Rogue, actually. I remember my reaction to Rogue being, well, this is a huge... this is a huge turn of events from where we were with the previous 4 episodes. And then we had The Legend of Ruby Sunday, which I enjoyed well enough. A lot of that's just Gabriel Wolf coming back. I was so excited about Gabriel Wolf coming back. I mean, the man's 91 years old. And they brought Gabriel Wolf back. I love that. And my thoughts on Sutekh coming back was, I didn't know. It depends on what they did with it. They brought Gabriel Wolf back. I was willing to give him a chance. But the thing is, retroactively, the Legend of Ruby Sunday really is just build up. It's just build up to Empire of Death. It's build up to Empire of Death. And Empire of Death ultimately just fails to live up to that. It's so underwhelming. It's not a good episode. It's a reset button. And you figure out early on it's a reset button. There are no consequences to this episode. It's just reset. Everything's dying, but it doesn't matter because reset. Uh-oh, this is going wrong. Reset. You know, there's no consequences. Whereas, you know, other TV shows have consequences for these actions. Doctor Who usually does. Classic Doctor Who, people died. Very seldom, and I can't think of any time, actually, in Classic Who was there just this big reset button where they reset everything, where all the people who died came back. And this has happened a lot in modern Who, like the Series 3 finale, when time rewinds back. Or even the Silence in the Library, in a way, because everyone who died still lives. Even though they live in the computer, there's still kind of a half reset, because they all ended up surviving. This whole everybody lives thing, it works great in episodes like the Doctor Dances, because it feels earned in the Doctor Dances. And because it's rare for Doctor Who to do that at the time when Doctor Dances came out. In classic Doctor Who, usually people died. You don't believe me? Go watch a story called Horror of Fang Rock and you'll see what I'm talking about. Most of you know where I'm going with that. In classic Doctor Who, people die. The Doctor might solve problems. He might fix things. Lots of people die. Look at Doctor Who and the Silurians. Especially if you count like all the extras with the plague stuff. Lots of people die. Look at Inferno. An entire Earth dies because the Doctor failed. That's what I like about Classic Who. Stakes. People die. It's not just lots of people are dying. Reset. Everybody's okay. I mean, even the one soldier who got killed in The Legend of Ruby Sunday came back. No consequences. And it just, when there's no stakes, it's uninteresting. Plus, the way they beat Sutekh is just, they put a collar on him because he's a dog. But he's not a dog. He's supposed to be a jackal. Russell T. Davies just is not. I remember my reaction when I got done watching Empire of Death.
What the hell is that?
And that basically sums it up. Season 1 is such a roller coaster Because it starts off not very great, but then you have those 4 episodes, episodes 2, 3, 4, and 5, which are varying degrees of good, with the 4 episodes 4 and 5 being really good. But then you have episodes 6, 7, and 8, which make me worry about the future of the show. And so that's the thing. You look at season 1 and realize season 2 was filmed before they had any feedback from season 1. The viewing figures for season 1, not great. Keeping in mind, of course, that it airs on the iPlayer first. That's going to affect the viewing numbers, I know. But here's the thing. The viewing numbers, people are like, well, viewing habits have changed since the 70s, so they're not going to have that 16.1 million that, episode 4 of City of Death had. And you're right, of course, they're not. But they're not even getting the 7 million that the 60th anniversary specials. And time hasn't changed that much in the, 7 or 8 months since those aired. Those were airing in, December of last year. We're not talking about 2008, 2010. We're talking about December of 2023. When the 60th anniversary specials aired. And they were at least getting consolidated 7-day numbers of 7 million. 7-something million. Whereas these are getting consolidated numbers of 3 million. Half. Sometimes less than half. And you can't sit here and tell me, well, habits have changed. Viewing habits have changed. Not in 9 months. 8 months. No. And your viewing figures have dropped in half. That's a problem. That is a problem. And they will continue to do so if they don't do something different with season 2. But they've already filmed it. Now, they could change some stuff with some editing, but it's been filmed. I'm curious to see what it's going to do. Again, I think Shuckle was a good actor. I have issues with his doctor, but that's more the way he's written. I think he's a good performer. This new companion that I mentioned in Boom, I said we'd circle around to this, because I know the actress playing the new companion is also one of the actresses that was in Boom. And her character in Boom didn't really impress me. I've never seen the actress in anything else. I haven't seen Andor, although I should watch Andor. Everybody tells me Andor is pretty good. So I've never seen her in anything else. She could be a great actress. I didn't care for her character in Boom much. I don't know if that's just the performance, the writing, what it is, but her character just she's there. Again, most of the guest characters in Boom, I'm just, they're there. They don't really do much for me. It's more the performance of the main 2 cast in Boom. So I am concerned about season 2. I want to see it. I'm concerned about it. Also, I'm curious whether the show will continue afterwards. I want to know if Disney is going to wait and see what season 2 does before they announce whether they'll do a season 3, or if they're going to make that decision beforehand. And when we're going to get season 2. I suspect it will be earlier in 2025. I believe they've said something to that effect before, that perhaps we'll get it earlier, like February or March would be great. Go ahead and get it out there. Then make the decision whether you want to continue it or not. Because I know Shuckle was busy the rest of this year. Millie is busy for the rest of this year. Even though Millie's only in 2 or 3, I think 3 episodes of next season. I don't even know how many episodes next season is. Is season 2 8 episodes, 10 episodes? I don't even know. So I don't know. And do you want it to continue? Do you want Doctor Who to get a 3rd season? Do you want it to go ahead and take another hiatus? Do you think it's time? Do you think modern Who has run its course? Even though they're technically treating this new era as a brand new Doctor Who series, the 3rd Doctor Who series, because they are claiming that modern Doctor Who was 2005 to 2022, and that, let's just call it Disney Who, is what started with the Church on Ruby Road, or the 60th anniversary special. It's really up in the air here, isn't it? The 60th anniversary specials and on are kind of a 3rd series here. Do you think that modern Who, I think most of us lump these 2 together. Do you think it needs a rest? Do you want it to continue after season 2? Do you want it to continue with the same team after season 2? Or do you want to bring in a whole new team, new doctor, new companion? What would you like to see going forward? What are you looking forward to about season 1? How do you feel about, or season 2? How do you feel about season 2? Are you apprehensive about season 2? And what would you like to do? What would you like for them to do with Doctor Who after season 2? Or are you like me? It's like, you know what? I need to watch season 2 first. I want to see what they do with season 2. And then I will make up my mind mentally whether I think Doctor Who should move forward, or whether it needs a little break, or whether it just needs a whole new production team. I think I'm waiting for season 2 to come out. I can still say I'm far more excited about the Doctor Who, the collection range, getting season 25 with all those new updated effects. You know, hopefully season 7 coming next year, ready to get a Troughton on the shelf. Those are the things I'm excited about. I want a Troughton on this shelf. Get me season 6 a-coming. I want to know what the next animation is going to be. Give me the smugglers. Give me the space pirates. Give me the savages. Give me the Highlanders. Give me the wheel in space. Well, they're not going to do Master Plan anytime soon, we know. You know, give me something like that. That's what I'm fired up about. That's the news I want to know. I'm excited about the Blake 7 Season 1 collection, or Series 1 collection. And I don't even have that nostalgic attachment to it other than very vague memories of when I was very little. I did a whole video talking about that before I started watching, basically, Blake 7 for what's... It's not technically the first time, but we could call it the first time because I only have very vague memories of it from when I was little. Just a few glimpses of it here and there. I'm basically watching the show for the first time since my memories of it were so fuzzy. And seven episodes into Blake 7, I'm really enjoying Blake 7. It's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that Blake 7 Series 1 Blu-ray. I mean, I have the DVDs box set right here, Blake 7. You can see it kind of in the background right here. Which the Flyattractor, I believe, sent to me, which I appreciate. But I'm so much more excited about Blake 7 that I've pre-ordered the Blake 7 Series 1 collection, which is basically, looks like it's coming in a standard edition packaging like these. I've spent the money and placed the pre-order for myself, even though I own the episodes, because I want to see the extras. I want to see the updated effects. Updated effects for every episode. Woohoo! I want to see that. What did I not pre-order? The Season 1 Steelbook. Now, I'm still hoping maybe someone will send it, but I don't blame them if they don't. After all, if I'm not willing to spend my money on it, why should I ask someone else to spend money on it to send it to me? To be fair. And that's the thing. I love steelbooks. You can tell I love Doctor Who steelbooks. And if the Season 1 steelbook had been the normal price of the steelbooks, I probably would have gotten it. But doing the math, it would cost me about $80 to get that steelbook sent to me, shipping and everything. Whereas I don't find Doctor Who Season 1 to be worth that money. Meanwhile, the Blake 7 Series 1 collection, I think tax and all, I'm trying to remember how much it was. I think it was under $60, just under $60, somewhere between $55 and $60, which is only about $20, $25 less. That's totally worth it for me. For a series that I'm only basically halfway through Season 1, that's worth it to me because I love the look of Blake 7. I love the performances I'm seeing. I love me some Paul Darrow. And I'm really liking Gareth Thomas, is that his name, who plays Blake. I'm really liking them. Now, I think the rest of the regular cast aren't really getting enough time to shine, and I do hope they get a little more to do. But I'm really liking both of them and their dynamic together. And then, again, the sets have this kind of Classic Who feel to them, with a lot of the people associated with Classic Who being involved with this show. David Maloney, Chris Boucher, Terry Nation, Dudley Simpson. My mind is going blank, but other people as well. There's so many people. And then guest stars that show up on both. So it has this Classic Who feel to it that when I'm watching an episode of Blake 7, I'm in this nice comfort zone. It's like almost like having a nostalgia for it, even though I shouldn't, other than my faint memories of it. Like, I've always known what Blake 7 was. You could have asked me when I was 8 years old what Blake 7 is, and I could tell you it's a BBC science fiction show that looks kind of like Doctor Who. Because, again, I have those faint memories of it. But I couldn't have told you the characters' names because my memories were so faint of it. But I'm way more excited about Blake 7 Season 1 than I am about Doctor Who Season 1, even though I have that huge attachment to Doctor Who, because Blake 7 feels more like Doctor Who to me than Season 1 of Doctor Who does. And I think that's very telling. I think that's very telling indeed to me. So I want to know what you think of all of this. This has really been a rambling video, but I want to know what you think of everything we've talked about here today. Comment down below. Let's talk about it. Don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button as well. I also have a Patreon if you would like to support me on that. There's a link to that down there. I want to give a shout out to Colin Coney, one of my top tier patrons. I appreciate his support, as I do the support of all of my patrons. It's very much appreciated. I have a P.O. box down there if there's anything you'd like to send me to look at and review. A link to my Amazon wish list is down there. A link to my Amazon UK wish list, which is separate, is also down there. And most importantly, as always, thank you for watching.